master of Сколково Foundation, Иван Косенков.
Okay. The organizers asked me to do something in style of TEDx. I tried to. Well, it's not usual for me. I'll try to make it more alive and more interesting than usual. Where is my presentation, by the way? That's it. It'll be about space technologies and so on. And I think big amount of people here think that, like space, we're here like about agriculture, about, food security, about how to feed 10 billion people in the world that are starving. Why do we spend a lot of money for space? Well, we are really in trouble. Some people think that we have to save the planet, but the planet is fine. Like George Carlin, the comedian, died recently. So he said that, in fact, planet is fine. The people are fucked, really, and we are really fucked. And there is 10 billion people, and we have to somehow feed them. And you've seen this movie yesterday, like the guy who somehow said that, we can somehow feed those people if they do the natural agriculture in their garden. Isn't it irrelevant? In fact, yes, we have this problem with overpopulation and how to feed people, and there are, the population is growing like flies. We now have these antibiotics and low children deaths and so on, and disease. We mostly eradicated the major diseases, but what do you think? It's forever? Yeah, really. I really like this book that said that really we have the probability of collapse of human civilization about 50% in next 100 years. And there is this question of starvation. It's more a question of how we survive in the apocalypse that's coming. Do you think it's a joke, right? Somebody of you think that the apocalypse is really probable in your life. Raise your hand who thinks that is. Not that much. However, like 1/3 of you. But you see that the rate of apocalyptic events is, quite stable. It's quite stable for the natural events. For example, this probabilistic characterization of asteroid impact, like this, or any catastrophic events like supervolcano, earthquake, and so on. But did you think that really the human makes his own extinction more and more probable every day? There is AI, we don't know how to work with it. There is, easy ways to work with genome of some viruses and bacteria. And can you imagine what for example, some nice, easy guys can make with, for example, flu virus? Did you ever thought of it? So there is a chance that, in the next 100 years we will be extinct. And all these talks, and people think that the space program is irrelevant. And they think, why do we spend for this? We have so much trouble on Earth. But the idea is that the space is the only way for our species to survive in the long term. Asteroids, either epidemics, either flu, terrorists, global warfare, whatever, And there is only one way to secure our survival. What can the space do for us? Well, you know, like Tsiolkovsky guy. Completely crazy, though. So he was thinking about that the space can give to society the tons of bread and infinite power. Well, the question, why he was speaking so much of bread, he was starving himself, you know, like very difficult years he was living it. But the truth is, really, when we're trying to get more substantial about space, what can space do for us? Some people thought that, well, maybe space-based solar power can do. It can be the solution of all our energy problem. Because really, the amount of food and the products we make, it's a function of the amount of the energy we can convert from the sunlight. And well, the sun is tremendous source of power. And well, really, the question is, how do we convert this power into food, into the nutrition that we can dissolve and consume? And well, maybe the space solar power may be an option. For example, Japanese have invested recently several $1 billion for the preliminary research. Well, who knows what it will become? But in any way, you see, shorter or longer term, we cannot just stay on one planet, and one day we have to live in space. And to know how to grow food and to feed ourselves in space, and maybe modify ourselves to get there, and modify other planets to build a bit better worlds out there in the void. Because, you know, the sun is not here forever. One day the Earth will not be a planet to be. So the question is, are we conscient enough, have we enough conscience to think about it and to make an effort? Do you? Well, some one of you think about like space exploration is the way to survival. Raise your hands. Well, not that much anyway. Okay, but well, let's make it more substantial. You know, about future. People usually don't consider something that is going forward more than 30 years as something substantial. And well, the people have always this bias that, well, if everything is going fine now, and we're planning that it will be going fine, it will be going fine. But well, usually it is not. Well, you have much things and much troubles, and well, you know, nobody of you can even think, will you be alive this evening? Nobody knows. So, anyway, enough of scary thoughts and, fantastics. Well, let's think about the current impact of space technology for our society. Basically, we see the three areas for application of, current application of space technology. First of it's telecommunications, which is, well, the area of its application is shrinking because every one of us have, well, most part of people is living in the cities with denser population. And, well, the SATCOM is good solution, for example, for the farms in the rural regions of the world. And more practical, well, for our subject, it's Earth observation and sat-nav technologies. Well, every one of you is using it, really, and even if you do not realize, every day you use the technologies derived from space data. When you're calling for the taxi, when you're searching for the place to go out this evening, and so on. The other thing that the big amount of people don't realize that the space technologies can make the spin-offs for the terrestrial applications. For example, one of the companies, RoboCivi, they were beginning their research as, you know Google X Prize? Somebody of you know Google X Prize? Well, Victor, thank you. Not much. Well, it's about, Google X Prize is about giving the money for the first private entity that will land the rover to the moon and will transmitting the data from the moon in HD quality. So it was the only Russian team that were participating in this prize. Well, they were not successful, they failed. But the most part of the team later formed the company RoboCivi that is making the warehouse equipment automation engines. And they are currently making the autopilots for warehouses at Samsung, somebody. Or at Volkswagen, and they have the implementations in other industries. So it's exactly how the space technology can serve for all of us today. But, becoming more and more specific about agriculture, yes. Satellite system, as you probably know that the satellite system is already a crucial element for agriculture. You have the navigation, like GLONASS-K, the first satellites here, and Earth observation satellite such as Landsat and its instruments for multispectral Earth observation. What it gives us? I think, nobody of you will deny that the precision agriculture is impossible without the space assets that supporting the decision making, that predicting yields, that giving us the insights about the fields, the crops, the yields, and so much boring stuff about, like this. To begin with, it's Earth remote sensing. You can see this photo. Normal photo from the satellite. It doesn't give you much, really. It's nice. It's looking nice, but it doesn't give you much. If you want to do something with it. But when you're making such kind of photos, I think you're aware of it. What's kind of photo is it? Can you tell me? Somebody? Near infrared. Yes, exactly. And what's the nice thing with near infrared? It really, that's the thing. It's also near infrared photo, but not from satellite, but from Earth. And you can see the vegetation here. It's pink. Nice. Why is it? You can see that the vegetation, depending on its healthiness and fitness, reflects the near-infrared light in the different intensity. So the more healthy it is, the more it's reflected. So you can see easily from the satellite which and where the vegetation is more intense. And this is the practical tool you can use for seeing where is it going fine, where you have to apply more pesticide. when we have the genetically modified organisms now banned in Russia, the pesticide is only way for making our crops better. Nice. So yes, to apply pesticide, to apply more water, or what kind of crops would you put on the field the next day, the next year, for example. Well, for example, you can see the NDVI. Yeah, I think all of you is quite familiar with this tool. So after the treatment, the NDVI map can be converted to fertilization map. And it's already a tool, a practical tool to make the agriculture more efficient. One more thing. Well, usually we have this meteorology satellites making the photos of the Earth in near infrared and visible and so on. But there is new technology like GPS-RO, like that allowing us to instantly measure the temperature, the pressure, and the humidity of the air in this certain area. Well, which is one more application for the meteorology, for the satellites, for meteorological purpose. So, well, we have taken a look at the field, and it's eaten by parasites. So what do we do? Because watching is not sufficient. We have to take some actions. Maybe this one. No, well, looks more like this. So you have the newer tools for making the agriculture more precise. So automated vehicles for the treatment of the fields, for giving it fertilizers, for giving it pesticides, and it is all based on precise global navigation satellite system signals and data gathered earlier by the satellite. So why is it that relevant now? And why it is it's accessible not only for the bigger agriculture holdings. Why the time is now? Because we have now more and more satellites orbiting the Earth and downlinking terabytes of data every day. So it's big data, it's multi-spectrum, multi-resolution data from the satellites, imagery. And we have this nice trends like big data treatment with the neural networks. And we have a great variety of sensors on the ground and in the air. And all of this all together form the even more data. And finally, with the possibility of quick processing of all this data, we can create the product. You know, like nobody now wants the photo. You don't want the photo of your crops. You want the solution already. What to do with your crops now? Well, do you have to sell it all, or you have to fertilize it more or something? So this kind of solution is accessible for everyone, and data distributing is not that much matters, because the automated treatment of the data is, it's easy to access. One of our company, which is Astro Digital, they already making the product you have like your subscription for the analytics of the certain field, and after this they are giving you the data about your the requested surface every week, basically, maybe even more frequent. And it's much more important, and it's more insightful than just taking a look at a photo. So we see that currently the time for precision agriculture based on the satellite data is coming. Well, it's already came here, and well, if everything goes well, we will be able to feed all our citizens of the globe. But well, just think about what if something goes wrong. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And our last speaker for this session is from Biomedical Cluster Сколково Foundation, Юрий Никольский.